By the end of this episode, you are going to understand why some athletes are rising under pressure and others are spiraling. Elite performers don't use visualization as positive thinking. They use it as mental conditioning.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Welcome back to the Champion Within. This is your host, Kate, and today we are talking about one of the most misunderstood tools in mental performance. Confidence and success is linked to visualization. People either think that visualization is life-changing or complete nonsense woo-woo. Most people have said to me at some point or another a version of something of, I've tried visualization once and it didn't really work for me. I want you to imagine walking into a gym, doing 3 bicep curls, looking into the mirror and saying to someone, well, that exercise is clearly a scam. You would never do that. When you think about your physical training, you know that it takes time. For some reason, when people think about mental training, they quit immediately. That's the biggest problem around visualization. You need to understand that visualization is not magic. It is not manifesting your dream life while sitting on the couch. Visualization is mental conditioning. It's brain training. People who are performing at the highest levels in sports, business, leadership, medicine, life in general, they understand something that most of you do not. They understand that your brain can be trained before the moment ever happens. I've spent years working with athletes, teams, parents, coaches, teachers, leaders, all kinds of different people, and I see the same exact thing over and over again. People are not failing because visualization doesn't work. They're failing and giving up because no one taught them how to use it correctly. So today, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to tell you what the biggest mistakes are that I see that people are doing all the time when they're trying to do visualization on their own, why it's so frustrating for them, why people are quitting, and finally, how you can actually use it so you can change confidence, your performance, and your results. Once you understand this, you are going to start showing up differently everywhere in your life. People always come to me for one specific reason. If it's a team, it's for their sports performance. If it's the corporate space, educators, they want to improve something like communication or sales. Whatever the area is, we focus on that specifically, but your brain doesn't turn off. You learn to use this skill in every area of your life. Visualization can feel very uncomfortable. It feels weird for a lot of people when they first try it. The reason that happens is we're all conditioned to believe that productivity counts if we are physically doing something, if we're grinding, if we're working extra hard, checking off the boxes, moving constantly. So if you're sitting still, if you decide to close your eyes, which you don't always have to close your eyes for visualization, but if you do it that way and you just slow down even the least bit and you start mentally rehearsing some sort of future that hasn't even happened yet, it feels uncomfortable, even silly, especially if no one's ever explained to you what's happening inside your brain. I don't get very deep into the neuroscience of this, but it is important to understand what the science shows us. Your brain is responding to these vividly imagined experiences just like it is really happening. And those same neural pathways are being activated. This is exactly why elite athletes use visualization constantly. Olympians use it, professional athletes use it, Surgeons use it, musicians use it. Your brain starts to build that familiar pattern when you continue the repetition. And when it becomes familiar, it changes your performance. Most people never get past that awkward, silly, this is weird stage. They don't stay with it long enough to experience the payoff. Some people, when they're trying visualization, their nervous system completely rejects it. And that's why they quit. This is exactly why I throw in tools like breath work, self talk. You need these mental strategies to calm your nervous system so that you can use visualization. I weave visualization into every single session I do, whether I'm working with young athletes, high school teams, college programs, professional levels, coaches, leaderships, corporate space. Whatever it is, I weave it in. It could be a minute or two, it could be a longer session. This mental training is a part of the process. Confidence isn't something that is built during that championship game. Confidence is built when you put the repetitions in before that moment actually arrives. I see it all the time. Coaches get on phone calls with me and talk to me about it. Athletes are spending hours training their bodies, their strength training, they're putting the work in, conditioning, practicing plays, watching film. Almost nobody is teaching them how to train their mind. And they have all this pressure and they don't know what to do with it. So what's happening to them? One mistake and they spiral. One bad play, confidence completely disappears. One pressure moment and their thoughts completely take over. We train it differently when you work with me. In the Champion Within programs, we mentally rehearse pressure before it happens. We practice recovering after mistakes, resetting quickly, seeing yourself handling those nerves, responding under pressure, staying composed when your emotions rise. Because your emotions in the competition, in a basketball game, at that cheer competition, they are going to elevate. Honestly, some of the biggest transformations that I've seen with people I get to work with happen when athletes realize that confidence is not something you wait to feel. Confidence is something you train. When athletes and teams come together and they consistently use visualization, they don't suddenly become fearless. Pressure doesn't disappear. It becomes familiar. Your brain is like, oh, I've been here before. Your brain quite literally has already practiced those moments, just like you're doing the physical training, running through the plays, the drills. These moments are familiar because you are visualizing it. Before it even happens, you need to see yourself navigating through that pressure. Because if not, you're going to step onto that big stage. Let's say you're at a cheerleading competition and you're not going to be able to handle the nerves the best possible way you could because your brain is just experiencing it for the first time. I quite literally will tell my athletes, okay, this is what the venue looks like. This is what the court looks like. This is what the field looks like. We can't control everything. The weather, the ref, the crowd, all of the different things can change, but we can control the controllables. We know what it looks like in there. We know what it looks like when you stand in that long hallway with the black curtains if you are at nationals for cheerleading. We know what that feels like. You have to train your body to experience it. It changes everything. My coaches come back to me later and tell me that without these mental training breaks, that under the pressure, their athletes were flipping out and now they're completely different people. The best teams are not just physically prepared, they are mentally prepared. This is the difference maker. The second issue I see for some people when they're having trouble with visualization is their goals are a little too small. This goal that they start picturing in their brain, it doesn't really get them excited. And your brain knows it. Some people are going to be visualizing basically things that are just going to be slightly better. There's no real emotional connection there. There's not a strong enough challenge, no spark. It's like running the same easy workout every single day, wondering why nothing changes. Your brain craves meaningful growth. If you've been in a session with me or you've been listening to the podcast, you've probably heard me say DSD, do something different. That is how you have to change your brain. Your brain wants something that stretches you, not completely destroys you. It can't be too big, but stretches you. Something that makes you think, whoa, that would actually change my life in a good way. This is going to get the attention of your brain and your attention will sharpen. This is when your RAS, the reticular activating system, starts filtering differently. Remember, the reticular activating system is the part of your brain that says, this is important to me. It's when someone says your name and you turn your head. It's when you have an interest, you're buying that new car and you start seeing that car everywhere. You need to train that reticular activating system, or the RAS for short. When you start doing that, you begin noticing opportunities that you used to overlook. There's resources, people, ideas, openings. Your brain finally starts to be engaged and you focus on that because your focus changes. Your focus and your behavior is aligned with what you want. I need to jump in here. Coach, quick question. Do your athletes look amazing at practice? But when the game gets tight or you have a big competition, they panic, lose focus, fall apart, start talking negatively before they even compete, missed plays, bad body language, heads down. You know they have the talent, but pressure is winning. That's not a talent problem. That's a mental side of the sport problem. I run a team program called The Champion Within, where I train athletes using my CHAMP framework: confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. I literally retrain their brains so they know how to stay calm, get focused, and compete like the champions they are. When the moments get big, they need to know how to regulate their nervous system. It needs to be automatic. The teams that win consistently, they train their minds, not just their bodies. Just go down to the show notes, click on the link, or send me a DM on Instagram with the word team, and I'll get you everything you need. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. The third issue I see is the opposite. Instead of having your goal be a little boring, some people make that goal way too big and your nervous system flips out. We want to change that. You don't want to go so big that your nervous system is completely shutting down. This is where you're going to get your brain all confused, and people confuse visualization with this fantasy world. Your brain knows the difference between that stretch where we want to be and something that cannot emotionally connect at all. If someone who has never run before, not a runner at all, they start visualizing, I'm winning the Olympics, getting gold medals 6 months from now, their nervous system doesn't feel motivated. It feels threatened, overwhelmed. Their brain starts to procrastinate. They freeze. They're going to avoid things. There's going to be more self-sabotage because there's really no believable bridge there. This is why stepping stones are going to matter so much. If your dream is massive, that's amazing. I'm not saying that you can't become a runner, but you're not going to go right to the Olympics. Let's start visualizing running, beginning to start training. You want to keep that dream. I am not a dream crusher. I am a dream builder, but I want you to train your brain through layers. Visualization is finishing that first race. Maybe you're going to improve your pace. Then you're going to start Then we will start building your endurance. Then you're competing stronger. Confidence grows through that evidence, not pressure. This is exactly what I teach my teams and the athletes that I work with constantly. I don't go and work with a basketball team who has never performed well and start saying, you are going to win the championship. If they're doing that poorly, we start at the basic level, working together as a team. Then we start seeing ourselves stepping onto the court with confidence, running through our plays, winning. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And then we start moving through together. You do not build this elite confidence overnight. You build it rep by rep, thought by thought, response by response. Everybody starts somewhere. You are not getting off the couch and going to the Olympics in 6 months. It's just way too big. The fourth issue that people have is when your goal becomes your entire identity. This one is huge. This is really where so many of my athletes and people in general struggle in silence. There is a massive difference between wanting success and needing to feel success to feel worthy. When your identity becomes attached to the actual outcome, pressure explodes. Every mistake is going to feel personal. A bad game means I suck. A missed shot in your brain is going to sound like I'm a fraud. Any little setback becomes I'm not enough. And suddenly your nervous system isn't performing freely anymore. You're not in the zone. Instead, you are performing or playing scared. You are tight. You're overthinking everything. You're panicking. And this is why mental training matters so much, because visualization should never come from desperation. It needs to come from a grounded belief that you are already enough. The goal needs to be something meaningful that you're pursuing, but you need to be going through the process. It's a journey, not something that is going to determine your value as a human being. When people create this shift, it gives them this sense of freedom and release. They are in the zone, or you may have heard the flow state. They're performing differently. It's like they lose track of time. If you've ever experienced something like that, that's when you're not linking it to your identity anymore. You're just going through the process. Of course, you still want to perform well, but it doesn't get connected to your worth. The fifth thing that I see is people visualize the trophy only. This is a huge mistake that people in all different areas, and when I say trophy, of course, we connect that with sports, but maybe you can think about a big project at work. If you're a teacher, making sure everything's perfect in the classroom and the school environment. For my athletes, obviously the trophy, the medal, winning the championship. If you only visualize that perfect ending, that trophy, the applause, the scholarship, the big win, and you never actually rehearse the hard parts, the nerves that are going to happen, the mistakes you're going to make, the pressure you will feel, and that unexpected problems, you're not going to get there. Michael Phelps famously visualized his goggles filling with water during races, not just winning, but he mentally rehearsed things going wrong, and he would see himself handling it anyway. That is effective visualization. Life is messy. Performances in any area are messy. Leadership is definitely messy. So if your visualization only includes perfection, your brain is going to panic. The second reality gets uncomfortable, you're going to panic more. When you rehearse recovering quickly, breathing through the pressure, resetting yourself after you make a mistake, your nervous system stops treating challenges like emergencies. Now that pressure becomes manageable, and that's exactly what we want. That's why the best athletes in the world, they look calm under pressure because they've been here before. They're visualizing it. It's not because they don't feel nerves. It's because their brain has quite literally practiced this moment thousands of times. The sixth thing, and this one, again, is in all areas, not just for my athletes, but that people are trying to control other people. Yes, 100%. When I'm working with teams, we do visualize interacting with teammates and coaches, but you cannot control what someone else does. When you're controlling the controllables, it is really your end of it. It's an inside out job. This one is a big one, and it changes things at so many different levels. You cannot mentally force someone to pick you up, someone to promote you, someone to love you deeper, to validate you, to cheer for you, to change for you. That is not what this is. Visualization is training you, your mindset, your responses, your preparation, your energy, your resilience. So instead of visualizing, they finally believe in me, I would want you to visualize, I show up prepared, calm, confident, regardless. The moment you stop trying to control everyone else, you become powerful again. And ironically, that confidence also changes the outcome anyway. Yes, I do team visualization, and we see our teammates supporting us, our coaches there with us, and we hear all of the sounds around us, but we cannot control how other people react. Afterwards, when we reflect, I will tell you that it is very powerful. One teammate may share something that helps another teammate calm their nervous system. So it can be very powerful to do it in a group session, but each individual athlete, employee, teacher experiences it uniquely. You got to remember that people are going to respond differently to grounded energy, and that's okay. It would be a really boring life if everybody was the same. I always tell my daughter this because she was always the shortest in the class, that, hey, if we were all the same, life would be boring, right? Same thing goes with how you calm your body, how you ground yourself and chill out. You can't tell your teammate, this is exactly how you need to do it because this is how I do it. Maybe you're going to do it the same, maybe not. If visualization has felt disappointing for you before, I want you to remember to choose goals that are going to wake up your brain, not goals that are going to be boring to you, and not goals that are so massive that your nervous system is going to shut down. Create those stepping stones. Visualize the obstacles that you might be facing, not just the highlight reel. See yourself training recovery, training resilience, training to be calm. And I want you to detach your worth from the outcome. You're staying focused and on your side of the net. You're not going to be able to control people on the other side. Quite literally see your preparation. See yourself being a leader. Visualization is not magic. It is mental rehearsal. And mental rehearsal is going to change everything in your performance. This is the same way physical reps are going to build your muscle. Mental reps are building your confidence, making you familiar and giving you that composure when pressure happens, and pressure will happen. This is exactly why the best teams in the world, the best individual athletes in the world train mentally, because they know when pressure rises, you do not rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. Visualization is not broken. Most people just have never been taught how to do it properly, and they have never worked with me. So if you're thinking right now, we need this, I need this, reach out to me. I'm not just giving motivational talks out there. I am quite literally teaching you and guiding you through this so that you can understand how the brain actually works. And when you do, everything changes. You need to stop waiting to feel confident. Start training confidence. You need to stop fearing pressure. You need to start preparing for the pressure. You need to stop hoping that you'll stay calm in those hard moments and start rehearsing becoming someone who can actually stay calm. This is the work that I do every single day with athletes, teams, leaders, educators, and individuals. And it is not motivation, it's mental conditioning. Your potential is not fixed. Your confidence is 100% trainable. Your mindset's trainable. Your responses are trainable, but you have to practice. You have to put the reps in. And if this episode hit home for you today, send it to a coach, a parent, athlete, team, somebody who might need it, because this work changes the way people perform. And more importantly, it changes the way they live. And that's exactly what the Champion Within programs are all about. I'll see you at the next episode. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and an epic week ahead.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.